share your initiative and voucher assistance. We do not expect to discuss technical issues in depth like we do in global cash working groups or regional cash working groups. What we would like to do is get to listen to each other, really listen to each other and understand each other and each other's work and challenges and dilemmas, and hopefully even try to find some solutions together. And it is a space that we will be shaping together with you, with your feedback. And we will be talking a lot more about that later on in this meeting. Also, regular attendance is not required. So feel free to join us when you can. And also please do invite others as you see fit. So for the agenda today, we will be going through a bit of some of what is coming up on the CALP side. And we have 3 agenda items. The first one will be on CALP's perception survey and the plans that we are making in that regard. The second agenda item will be on CALP learning plans. And lastly, we will have an open discussion on how CALP could be of service to you. And by CALP, I mean the CALP team. And also just to mention, while today's agenda is a little CALP-centric, we expect that future meetings will include agenda items that you will prefer, and we will be discussing that later on in this meeting. So welcome again to the meeting. We wanted to have a meeting so that we can all turn on our cameras and chat openly, but we decided to use the webinar platform in order to accommodate the number of people that wanted to participate in the meeting. But we would still really like to hear from you. So please drop your comments in the chat and your questions in the Q&A as we go along. And now I will hand over to my colleague Lynn for the first session of the meeting.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lynn Yoshikawa. I'm the head of network development with CALP. It's great to see such a robust group today from all parts of the world, from lots of different roles. I see in our poll, we have colleagues from all around the world, a good number from Africa and the Middle East, a good number of people joining from Asia. So thanks for staying up late after hours. And then on the other side of the world, lots of early birds in the LAC region. Thank you for joining us today. And we hope we can have a good discussion today. So today I wanted to present a bit more about some of the feedback that you shared with us about CALP's work. Last year, we conducted a survey, and here are some of our results, our reflections, and some of the initial plans that we've discussed for your feedback. So in this survey, we received about 250 responses. We also cross-checked it with analytics from our website, downloads, and other user data. And here's what we found. Overall, we heard that, the CALP network is performing strongly. We did also hear, though, that with all of the information and guidance and research coming out, that we can continue to strengthen our communication with our audience and make our products and platforms more user-friendly. So that's well heard. We also heard from you that we need to continue to strengthen our outreach, particularly to local actors. So from local NGOs and for governments in affected countries. We also heard that there's a real appreciation, and there has historically been, for CALP's trainings, but also an ever-growing demand. And if you could turn to the next slide, please. So here's the result. Here are some of the actions that we've discussed and we will be putting forward to CALP's board for approval in the coming year. So at first, we do want to have more inclusive opportunities for learning and exchange. So the cash catch-ups can be one such platform. We also have a lot of other activities coming on as usual, and we aim to be, better planned at these and making sure that we're tackling some of the critical issues that you're facing today. For example, next week, we do have a webinar on mapping financial service providers. We hope you will join us there also, and simultaneous interpretation will be available. We will also be looking to develop the next global framework for action. This was a document that CALP had put together back in 2017, putting together a lot of the global commitments around cash policy. And now many of those commitments have expired with the grand bargain. But we do know that there is still a lot more to be done in the cash space to make sure that it is more user-centric. So my colleague Kate, who you'll be seeing shortly, will be leading a process across the network to develop our targets and goals for what we'd like to see in the cash space. We also will be prioritizing key themes. As you know, cash touches every space pretty much in the humanitarian sphere. But we have heard from you, CALP's technical advisory group, and lots of other stakeholders about some of the key issues that keep them up at night. As always, social protection remains a huge area of interest and offers real potential for increasing sustainability and locally led responses. We'll also be looking at further at digital payments, which I'll discuss shortly. We'll also be doing a lot more work in climate and the environment. And if you're not already, I hope you are aware of CALP's community of practice on climate, the environment, and CVA. There's a lot of interesting work going on and ever more present with the growing number of disasters in the world. We will also be looking at strengthening the local leadership in CVA responses too. And as part of that, we do want to make sure that our events and activities are widely accessible to local actors. And we do know that language has been a main barrier, which is why we will be trying to have more simultaneous interpretation in CALP events. Turning back to the issue of digital payments and data responsibility, we will be investing further resources in this area. In the coming months, CALP will be recruiting a technical advisor focused in this area and trying to understand all the opportunities and challenges on emerging technologies, while also making sure that we are protecting recipient data. We will also continue to strengthen our the system's capacities to deliver trainings. And Greg shortly will give a bit more detail on how we're going to be doing that. And last but not least, we will be reestablishing CALP's presence in Asia. We had closed our office in 2017 due to a number of factors, but given the vast geographies in Asia, the relevance of issues around climate change and social protection, it is essential that we do have a foot in the Asia Pacific region. So we will be looking to have a team there towards the middle of this year or later in the year. So this is just a snapshot of some of the activities that we've been discussing internally. We will be publishing soon CALP's annual plan once it is approved by CALP's board, and we'll be publishing it so you're better aware of what's going on. As always, please do keep in touch with CALP's newsletters or directly with CALP staff and social media platforms, because there is definitely a lot going on. And we also do invite you to get engaged in these activities. So we'll reach out to you and other key stakeholders, but also if you don't hear from us, please do drop us a line. So if we could go to the next slide. And here we just wanted to leave it open for some questions, answers, and reactions. I don't see anything currently in the Q&A, but would welcome any thoughts on what's been shared. And if you would like to also raise your hand, and I do see one hand raised already, please do that and we will unmute you. Great, I'll hand over to Vlad. Vlad, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Sorry, wrong hand.
Accidental hand?
Accidental hand, but it's great
Okay.
that you're coming back to Asia.
Great. Thanks so much, Vlad. For those who don't know him, Vlad is working in the Asia Pacific region as a cash CAP deployee and supporting the Asia Pacific Regional Cash Working Group. So we'll be working very closely with Vlad and other colleagues there. But yes, it is exciting and a bit daunting given the huge diversity in the region. Great. Yes, let me see. Mahmoud, I see a hand up from you and you can now unmute yourself. Mahmoud?
ايوه انا معك تفضل.
Was that an accidental hand, Mahmoud?
نعم.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Feel free to put anything in the chat or Q&A. I do see a question from Dina, a bit more about the Asia office. What will it look like? It's a good question. I think what we're thinking now is a relatively small presence with 2 staff members. We're still looking at the hosting options, but we had done some initial mapping of potential locations. While Bangkok is the regional hub and would be ideal, it is a challenge for hosting and recruitment. But so other potentials that we have looked at have been Indonesia and the Philippines. Indonesia because of the hub as for ASEAN, and the Philippines also as another potentially good hub. And because of its geographical location, it's a bit more amenable for colleagues who are based in the Pacific region. So again, it's a vast and diverse region. It's really hard to get it right. So we'll be working on those hosting arrangements in the coming months, and would be really happy for your support and ideas on getting that going. The Q&A as people are getting warmed up. So Annalisa asked, can we share a bit more on the area of digital payments and what aspects you may want to focus on in 2022? This is a very active space at the moment with lots of collaboration across the ecosystem. Yes, fully agreed, Annalisa. It's a huge area. And in fact, I think at this point, we haven't defined it much further because we don't have the expertise to figure out where CALP can add the best value. But I think certainly within that, the emphasis will be very much around data responsibility. We've seen the recent issues that have emerged in Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and others, and also recently with the ICRC, albeit not with cash. And we are aware that cash is becoming a very strong entry point for the digitization of recipient data and sharing data with different parties. So that will probably be a strong area of focus. And it'd be great to hear from others who are working in the digital payment space too. Drop us a note so that we can keep your contacts on file for when we do have someone in place to talk about them. Great. I don't see other hands, and I do see some other questions, mostly about trainings, which will be which Greg will explore further in detail shortly. Maybe just a short note for everyone. We will share the recording in English, and we will also share a Q&A of any questions that we're not able to get to. And I see a couple more. Blockchain, a question about blockchain and the use of digital platforms from Emilio. Yes, that's certainly an issue. And if you are part of CALP's online discussion groups, you see that there is a lot of interesting work going on in this area. And that will probably be something that we explore further. Ibrahim, you asked about localization. Is it all about local organizations' integration, or is capacity included? Maybe it will be helpful to give more insight. Yes, so a lot of it is about integration, but also I think capacity. What we'll be doing, and again, Greg will give more details, is that in our face-to-face trainings in particular, we will be working to ensure that we have strong participation from local actors. We know that that is something very much welcome, and those face-to-face trainings and facilitated trainings are a great way for colleagues to learn. There's also a question on the Middle East. I'll probably just take a couple more questions, and then I'll answer them later in the other presentations. Maybe I'll take this question from Ahmed on, is the issue of cash included in the early recovery program? A very strong yes. Cash has been used across the different phases of humanitarian response as well as in development. And it is very common. And so we're happy to share other resources that might be relevant. And then maybe just a couple more questions I'll package together on, cash in Myanmar and cash in the Middle East. Cash certainly is very big in the Middle East. Please do, Abir, it'd be great. We'll share the contacts of our regional team so you can get in touch and hear about all the great work that CALP members and stakeholders are doing there, very cutting edge as well. With regards to the Myanmar Cash Working Group, we have not been in touch directly very recently, but we do hope that through our regional presence, we will be able, in tandem with the regional cash working group, provide support to various cash working groups there. Great. Well, we'll continue to answer some of the questions in the chat. It's great to see that. And I will hand over to my colleague, Greg, to talk us more about our learning work. Greg, over to you.
Super. Thank you, Lynn. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Greg from the learning team at CALP. And we've got a 20-minute slot here. 10 minutes will be a short presentation, an overview of training and capacity building resources available through CALP and the network. And then there'll be a space for 10 minutes of questions and answers afterwards. But please do use the questions and answers option in Zoom throughout, because my colleague Steph, also in the learning team, will try and cover off as many of those as she can. And then in that 10-minute session afterwards, we will revisit any common questions, any common themes coming out. We will also follow up to this call with an email with various links of different pages, which I will address today. But before we move on, I'd just like to get a bit of an understanding as to your background. So I will launch a quick poll question, which hopefully you can see on your screen now. Have you accessed any of CALP's online learning on the Cash Learning Hub or Kaya platform? If you're not sure, feel free just to put no for now, but it'll be good just to gauge some background information as to the people in the room today. So we've had over 60% respondents. I'll give it another few seconds and then I shall stop the poll. Super. So I'm sharing the results now. Yes, 70% of you have accessed CALP's online learning on the Cash Learning Hub, which is fantastic. Hopefully today I'll be able to show you something new, although you will be familiar with a lot of the content. And as mentioned at the start, this is our first cash session, so it is kind of quite an introduction to training and capacity building from our side. For the 30% of you that said no, you're in for a treat today because we've got lots of great tools to show you. So we're looking forward to sharing this with you over the next 10 minutes. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So one of the questions we often get asked is where can you access some of the capacity building resources? And hopefully most of you are familiar with the website by now, but you'll see here through capacity building across the menu on the top, there are various options, including training videos, which are housed on our YouTube channel and links to our online learning. For those who are interested in facilitated trainings, here you can see our training calendar under facilitated training. And currently we are showing training courses you can apply for from not just CALP, but also our members. So we've got development pathways, KA consulting, and there's a CALP course there being delivered in Spanish. And these are updated on our website where you can click through for more information, including how to apply. So I do encourage you to regularly check this website and also join our social media platforms, join our D groups, because there will also be notifications on there as to when these courses are being announced and you can apply for them. Next slide, please. So as well as the website, we have CALP's Cash Learning Hub. This is where you'll find a range of e-learning courses on various cash-related topics, created and developed by CALP and also some of our members. The Cash Learning Hub is housed on the Kaya platform. So to access these courses, it is available for free, but you do need to create an account, which only takes a few moments. As well as online learning, you'll see various other capacity building resources. We have cash and markets resources. We have information on strengthening institutional capacity. And another folder I'd like to draw your attention to there is the facilitator space. In this section, you can find lots of training materials on different courses, and that includes detailed facilitator notes, PowerPoint slides, and handouts, and they're available for free for you to download. So if you do have CVA expertise, it may be you want to deliver a training in-house, and there's lots of great information there on different topics related to CVA, which you can access. So I do recommend that you take a look at those. We are also reaching out to some of the clusters at the moment to ask for their training materials related to cash, which we could also post on this space as well. So do keep an eye out for that in the future. Next slide, please. So specifically for e-learning content, you'll see on the screen there on the slide, this focuses on our specialized courses. Again, not just CALP courses, but also from some of our members. We've got the Norwegian Refugee Council with a course, Oxfam have courses on here as well. And where possible, these courses are available in the 4 languages which CALP operate in: English, French, Spanish, and Arabic. At the top of the screen, you'll see there's different drop-down menus for other courses we have available. And in the introductory courses, our most popular course, Cash and Voucher Assistance, the Fundamentals, can be found there, available in all 4 languages. And this is a really great course if you're new to cash, you want to understand some basic terminology. It's a 2 to 3 hour course, and it is our most popular course where we direct people. The second one in that drop-down option is called Core CVA Skills for Program Staff. This is our flagship 5-day face-to-face training course, which has been developed for online delivery. Over the past 18 months to 2 years, we've created 51 individual pieces of learning content for that course, and that's available through videos, handouts, and various small e-learning courses to take. Also available in all 4 languages. And this content is available for free. So again, I really do recommend you explore this. It follows the program cycle and addresses best practice when implementing CVA. If you do wish to complete that course and get a certificate of completion, you must enroll in a 12-week program. And this includes 6 workshops. So we will be posting these on the website. There is a Spanish course open for applications at the moment. And so if you do wish to take that course as a 12-week program, then you will have to keep an eye out on that training calendar for opportunities. Next slide, please. So specifically to CALP courses, we do get asked when can we attend a CALP course, and I can see sometimes that's a question that's been posed already. The first way to access these is through our website, which I've already mentioned. So CALP do run some courses throughout the year. We are offering fewer and fewer courses at the moment because we are trying to increase the reach to the network to have courses delivered elsewhere. And I would say on average, each region will deliver 2 to 3 courses a year. So as you would expect, our courses are really oversubscribed. So that's why we do encourage you to explore the online content that's there and also explore the next 2 options, which I'll talk through. So could you click on the next part, please? So one of the ways you could also access the training is through reaching out to a CALP certified trainer. CALP are growing our cohort of certified trainers who are certified to deliver a number of our courses, and there's a page on our website where you can find their details, their email and contact information. On there, you are free to reach out to them, to contract them, agree terms and conditions and dates to organize a training for you and your organization. If you would like to contact CALP to help you in organizing that, please do, either through myself or through our regional colleagues, and we can put you in touch with other interested organizations. You can pull your resources together, recruit a CALP certified trainer and have that course delivered for you. And I can see a question in the chat, which I will come on to shortly, about how you might become a CALP certified trainer. So I'll come on to that later. Can you click once more, please? And finally, we also have CALP training partners. There are 3 currently who have agreements with us who are able to deliver a CALP certified course using a CALP certified trainer. But as they are a private organization, they do charge fees for their courses. CALP are quite lucky in that we get subsidized trainings provided by their donors so that generally participants do not have to pay a fee. But if the training is offered by a training partner, then there is a fee, a charge for that course. And as shown earlier, KA Consulting are currently have applications open for a course they are due to deliver. And again, to manage expectations, these 3 training partners tend to deliver 2 or 3 courses during a year. So whilst there are opportunities, they are few and far between. So between CALP and the training partners, we try and meet as much need as we can, but we do know there is huge demand for our courses. And so option 2 is often the best bet. So please do consider how you could work with cash working groups, how you could work with other organizations to organize a CALP affiliated training through a CALP certified trainer. And can we go to the next slide, please? Super. So this is the final one from me before we move on to the question and answer. And just some key points really for how you can get involved. Recapping on what's been said already, explore the Cash Learning Hub, lots of great resources on there, lots of great courses from CALP and our members. Explore the CALP website and our YouTube channel. So we have lots of great training videos on there. You can complete our online courses, and on completion of the e-learnings I mentioned earlier, you do get a certificate of completion. Attend a face-to-face training or even organize a face-to-face training. And as mentioned, reach out to an email address we'll share shortly, training@calpnetwork.org, or to our regional colleagues to see how you might connect with other organisations to pull your resources together. Apply to become a certified trainer. In the follow-up email, we will provide a link which includes a form for how you can apply to do this. We have some TOTs planned for this year, and a key priority for CALP are individuals with cash and voucher assistance expertise. They already have experience with facilitation. Ideally, you're an independent consultant, because when we have certified trainers, we need them to be available to deliver trainings elsewhere. If you're already working for an organization, it's sometimes difficult for you to have that flexibility. And ideally, we're also trying to increase our number of trainers who can speak languages such as French, Spanish, and Arabic, based in countries where within the region don't require much travel. As I'm sure you can understand, during COVID, it's been quite difficult for trainers to move around. So where possible, we're trying to increase our capacity within regions within country. Another way to get involved is to engage at regional level to help identify the needs of you and the country. We have various surveys and events that you might become familiar with, so please do provide feedback where you can, including events such as today. And just a plug really for an event that's coming up in 2022. Keep an eye out please for a global online learning event, which will be coming soon and you should hear more information about soon. So if you could go to the next slide, please. Now we've got a chance and opportunity to ask any questions, and I'll pass over to my colleague Steph, who's just been reviewing some of the questions that have come in so far, and we'll also try and cover off as many as we can in this 10 minutes. Over to you, Steph.
Many thanks, Greg. Yes, just a couple of ones that came up in the chat. So one question was asked, is there any opportunities for scholarships to attend CALP courses or specialised courses? So as Greg mentioned, when CALP run a course, it's usually free. We usually have funding, so there wouldn't be any fees attached to it. And our online courses are all free as well. So it's really worth exploring that Cash Learning Hub. There's a lot of resources in there and on our YouTube channel. The only time when fees are usually charged is when they are run by our training partners. So we don't have control over scholarships or funding for those opportunities. But the best way to find out when training is coming up, as Greg said, is to sign up to our newsletter, sign up to the D groups, and keep an eye on our social media. That's usually where we'll announce upcoming courses. And that's also one of the questions that came up around when will there be training in South Asia, I believe. So again, there are occasionally trainings that come up that we run or that are organised by cash working groups. If you feel that you need a training in your region and there hasn't been one, as Greg mentioned, one of the best ways to do that is talk to the cash working group, or if your organisation has funding, to directly contract certified trainers to run those courses for you. So we have on our website a long list of people who can be contracted to deliver it and issue CALP certificates on our behalf. So that's the best way really to do it. Very often we find that our training gets delivered through cash working groups who sometimes have funding for that. So yeah, and I can't see many other questions. I don't know, Greg, if there's any more that you want to come to about the TOTs. I think you've covered it already on certified trainers.
Yeah, one I might just address is, I think someone's mentioned that they've enrolled in many courses in the past. I think a challenge we find, because we don't offer many courses, we are very oversubscribed for running any course. And so when we do try to select participants, we do want people with CVA expertise that can contribute to conversations. We are aiming to have a mix of organisations, including national NGOs as well as international INGOs, and from a range of countries within that region as well. So I mean, apologies if you have applied and you haven't been accepted. It is very difficult, and it's difficult decisions for us, which is why I would encourage you to see what resources there are on the website, because there's lots of great e-learnings on there. And if there is potential within your organisation to pool resources with others, please explore that route. Do get in touch with our regional teams, and together we can see if there are a number of organisations who are interested. We could help organise that for you.
And Greg, I might just there's a question about meal training. So yes, we do have a 1-day face-to-face training course around monitoring for CVA, which goes along with CALP's guidance note on monitoring for CVA. The face-to-face materials are available on Kaya for anyone to download and to look at or deliver or adapt. Obviously, again, if you want to have it delivered as a CALP certified course, you would need a CALP certified trainer. But the materials are available, they're free, anyone can take a look at them or download them. We do also have a different online course that focuses on monitoring for CVA, and that is more of a practical scenario to work through monitoring examples online, and that's also free and available. So that's probably, I think, all I can say about the meal options. I can see there's quite a lot of people asking about how to get certified as a trainer and how to become CALP certified trainers. Just to flag what Greg mentioned before, that our priority this year is to focus on TOTs and expanding our certified trainers for Spanish speakers, French speakers, and Arabic speakers in particular. So we're less likely to be holding TOTs for English speakers at this time. We hope to expand later on down the line potentially, but right now our biggest focus is getting more of a large cohort for regional trainers. And as Greg said, we also really want to focus on training independent consultants more than members of NGO staff, because we find they're just often NGO staff who are trained as certified trainers simply aren't available to deliver that training, which leaves us with the same capacity gaps. So that's why some of our TOTs have very limited spaces available, because we're trying to prioritize both those languages and also people who are more available to deliver. So I hope that's clear. Back to you, Greg.
I've seen one about, I didn't quite understand it, so I'll do my best, but it was about the courses having guides to them. So I know with some e-learning courses, when you complete it, you can download a PDF of the content. That's not something currently available in our courses, but it is something we are considering. And we have taken steps to reduce the size of the e-learning, so that rather than in the past, some of them might have been quite long, we are trying to make them more bite-sized. But for program implementers, I would encourage you to take a look at our program quality toolbox. So on the CALP website, you can access this toolbox, and there's lots of great resources if you are implementing CVA, and it covers guides from various organizations and networks throughout the different stages of the program cycle. So I would recommend you take a look at that if that's of use of you as a kind of checklist guides for a different element of a program you might be working on. Just having a final scan through the questions. Lynn, feel free to let me know if there's any you can see. Otherwise, I think we might hand it back to you, Lynn, for the next stage.
Great, thanks everyone for your questions and lively discussion. So we just wanted to open it up now here. If there are any other suggestions for CALP and how we can improve, our service to you as members and stakeholders in the CASH space. It does look like we could recruit a lot of people from here, for certified trainings. There's a lot of interest. We'll make sure that all your questions are answered, and we'll send around a note too on that. But yeah, opening it up. There were other questions, more general outside of learning, that came before. But I noticed a lot of questions around the intersection of cash and development, cash and recovery. I wonder too if that could be a topic for a future conversation, because it is a big one. But I wanted to invite any of you in the audience to raise your hand, share your thoughts on the issue, since it is a big space and we do want all of you to connect with each other. So please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Great. Tom, over to you. You can unmute yourself. Tom, we don't hear you. please do try speaking. Oh,
Okay, are you able
yes.
to hear me now, Lynn?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, my question goes to Greg and Steph concerning the statements they made that focus will be on covering other regions like the Arab-speaking Spanish as well as others. But I would say, based on my previous showing of interest, which initially I remember emailing Sapenzi, who is on this forum, based in Nairobi, I think no matter the context or languages spoken in various regions, the focus should be on training as much trainers or trainees as possible, especially from the consultancy group of persons who can then be able to use translators and interpreters from local contexts where trainings need to be conducted. I think this would be a better strategy in having many more people trained and got on board. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tom. If I could, I'll just expand a little bit for the benefit of everyone as well who's asking about becoming a trainer. In terms of the process, as well as having a training of trainers, which you must attend, so having already have CVA experience and facilitation experience, CALP would run a training of trainers course for a particular course. To become a certified trainer, you then must co-facilitate the course. So as well as attending that training of a trainers event, and then you must go ahead and co-facilitate a course. So then the challenge for CALP then is in terms of having enough opportunities for someone to then co-facilitate, to become more familiar with the training methodology, more familiar with the content, and for CALP to be confident that this trainer kind of meets the gold standard of being a CALP certified trainer. So there is that two-step process. And as I mentioned earlier, CALP have made the decision to step back away from delivering as many trainings, and we're trying to offer this pool of certified trainers out there for you guys, for organizations to reach out to, and we've also got our training partners. So on the CALP side, we haven't really got the ability to be able to run lots of training of trainers and then to have lots of co-facilitation opportunities that follow. But it's a good point to flag. And again, if you're interested, then you can either apply to be a CALP certified trainer, or if you're interested in having a training delivered in where you're based, then do reach out to Sapenzi and myself, and we can see what other interest there is from other organizations, and maybe pull resources together to make that happen.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, maybe I could just also quickly add, I know we need to finish up now, Lynn, just to add that, yes, you're right about having trainers who have the local experience. That's really important to us. But I think because our current cohort of trainers has around 40 to 50 trainers who are English speaking and significantly less in other languages, that's why we're shifting our focus right now, just to balance it up before we refocus on adding more trainers. And as Greg said, COVID-19 in the last 2 years has made it really hard for us to provide those face-to-face co-facilitation opportunities. And yeah, what we don't want is to offer lots of TOTs and have lots of people partly certified but unable to get fully certified. So we're trying to make sure that we're balancing those elements together.
Great, thanks, Tom, Greg, and Steph. I did see there was a good question from Ibrahim. For capacity for national organization, what is CALP doing on mapping these national NGOs? Are you exploring the cash working group in different countries, or what? It's a good question. Maybe I could just start off based on what I know. We do reach out with to CALP members. These are posted in our newsletters, different training opportunities, as well as on our website. And then to different extents, I think all of our regional offices are in different spaces in terms of mapping national organizations. There will be also direct outreach beyond that group, but it is something that we're watching, and we will be reaching out bilaterally to ensure that those local organizations have access to training opportunities. Greg or Steph, please feel free to add.
So I might actually turn that one to Sapenzi or some of the regions to feedback on in terms of the mapping of the NGOs and the cash working group. Sorry.
Hi, thank you, Greg. In terms of engagement with local organizations and their ability to access training, we are trying as much as we can when we do organized trainings to have local organizations forming a good quarter of the participants of those trainings. We are also trying to engage with local organizations, especially the ones that are members of CALP, but we do know that there are many other local organizations that are not members of CALP, and we supporting local organizations is a key part of our strategies in CALP and in the various regions, and we are trying to see as much as possible how we can reach out to them. At the regional level, we've tried to do this through cash working groups, but we also know that there's a good number of local organizations that currently do not participate in cash working groups. So if you are a local organization and you're interested in engaging with CALP, please, we always want to hear from you. So please reach out to the regional CALP colleagues in your region and let them know what your interests are. And if you're interested in participating in training as well, please flag, because we do get a lot of applications and we would want to prioritize the interests that have been expressed in the past. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Maybe we'll just turn to another question. I see a hand from Ahmed. Ahmed, please go ahead. Ahmed, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Go ahead, Ahmed.
I can Arabic.
Yes, we'll need to just switch to, yes, I think that should be fine. The channel should translate, I think, for us. Go ahead.
أول شغلة أنا مدرب، أنا من سوريا، أحمد محمد البليخ، مدرب في أكثر من منظمة ومعتمد، وحابب إني أعمل تدريب الكاش، يعني القسائم النقدية. ففهمت شلون بدي أنا أطوع، شلون بدي أسجل عندكم وأصير مدرب، يعني معلش تساعدونا في هذا الموضوع.
Great, thank you, Ahmed. So the question is about certification and how to become a trainer in that area. Maybe it would be helpful too that we have maybe bilateral follow-up, because each individual's case might be a little bit different. So Ahmed, please we have your email. We'll make note, and maybe we can organize a meeting with our MENA team and learning colleagues to figure out where you are and how we could get you to where you'd like to be. Thank you very much. I saw a hand next from Muhammad Daban. You want to go ahead?
Good evening.
Hi, go ahead, Muhammad.
My name is Muhammad Daban from Syria. Thanks, Lynn and Greg, for this chat. I want to ask if it's possible to focus on the culture of cash for work, as this allows for the possibility of more reconstruction.
So I understand, Mohammed, your question is about the potential for using cash for work in reconstruction.
I ask if it is possible to focus on the culture of cash for work.
I think yes.
We want in the CALP if it's possible to focus on the culture of cash for work.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the culture of cash for work. I mean, as you know, there's
in the courses, and I need to okay. This culture in Syria is not found. Not found. If it is possible, we went for reconstruction in Syria.
Yes, Mohammed, it would be good. There is a lot of work and experience that's been done in the cash for work space. So there's a lot of opportunity. Syria, of course, does offer other challenges with regards to, as you're very well aware, of different areas and sanctions, etc. So maybe this is also something that we can put you in touch with our MENA team to discuss further. So we'll certainly look out for your contact. Feel free to also put your email address just to the hosts too. It'd be great to discuss more with you some of those opportunities.
Okay, I know Mrs. Lin, that's Mr. Murad, now in the Damascus, and in Damascus. We in the north of Syria.
Yes, and I do know that there are cash working groups in the different sub-regions. So yeah, we'll follow up bilaterally just because there's different specificities, and it'd be great actually. Probably requires a bit more of an in-depth discussion, if that's all right, Mohammed. But thank you very much for flagging this. As we're just coming close to the end.
Okay, Mrs. Lin. I hope that. Thanks.
Great, thank you. As we're just coming close to the end, I wanted to do one last poll as we wrap up. We wanted to hear more from you about what topics you'd like to explore in future cash catch-ups. And also, the second question is about how often we should organize these cash catch-ups. So we'd love to get your feedback on those. We've already noted from the previous conversations, there's a lot of interest in looking at the intersection of with development, as well as there was a lot on blockchain. So those are well noted, but please do vote. So it will give us an idea of where your interests sit. And again, how often you'd like to hear from us. So with that, I'll just hand over to Kate to wrap us up.
Thank you very much, Lynn. So I am Kate, the Head of Policy, Evidence and Learning at CALP, and it is wonderful to virtually meet you all today. And I wish I could see everyone's faces, but technology has not helped us with that today, but maybe in the future. So welcome to the first cash chapter. I really hope that we will see many of you again in future catch-ups. There's different ways that you can keep in touch with us, which Lynn will put in the chat now. So for example, you can register if you haven't done already to our newsletters for different regions and also globally. There are also events on our website, which Lynn will be putting the link to that there. And I think a couple of people have mentioned already that our next event is on the 9th of February. which is around assessing financial service providers. So if that's of interest to you, please join. You can also join our D groups, which for me personally is a lovely way of posting. People post questions that they want answered, and then the community, you and many, many others, thousands of people are on that group that then can respond to the questions that are being asked from different places around the world. And also we have different communities, working groups, communities of practice, many other communities. If you go to our website, you can see those communities as well, if those are of interest. So as we said at the beginning of this call, that we will share the recording and any questions and answers that we've not managed to provide in this 1 hour. We will share responses to your questions when we share the recording with you, which will get out to you in the next few days. So please do stay in touch. It's lovely to meet you all, and thank you very, very much for taking time out of an incredibly busy day to join us. And Lynn, I can see topics for future catch-ups. I don't know if you quickly want to.
Yes.
A mixture.
Do you? Yeah, there's a range. I don't know, Kate, if you want to go through it quickly, or happy to do that.
So we've basically got CALP members CVA, so that's cash and voucher assistance initiatives. That's 13% have voted for that. Social protection is 18%. Digital payments, 17%. Cash and voucher assistance, the environment and climate change, 13%. Local actors and CVA, so cash and voucher assistance again, 6%. And cash coordination, 15%. And sector specific cash, 8%. So an interesting range. So yeah, so we will go away, we will reflect on that. If you have any reflections you want to share with us, then very much looking forward to our next meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone. And it looks like there's interest to meet every 2 to 3 months, so we'll certainly keep you updated. Thank you again, and glad to see that people found this useful. So thank you, and we'll see you at the next CALP event. Take care.
Stay safe, everyone.